How's everyone doing today? Andrew Banky coming at you here from in the storage unit, sitting in the boat, starting to get ready for another trip. Heading up to Sturgeon Bay this week. We were supposed to be fishing the Sturgeon Bay Open this week, but because of the whole coronavirus, that was postponed, and we will be getting after that September 11th and 12th, so we gotta wait a couple months. But I'm here to give you a little bit of a recap of a tournament that we fished in the beginning of May. We used the Fish Donkey app, so the social distancing and everything was in place. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. There was about 40 of us in the tournament itself. You signed up using the app, and then we used the total amount of inches for your 10 biggest fish to determine the winner. So how it worked is everybody has a bump board. You'd catch a fish. It'd still have to be over 14 inches. You take a picture of it on the bump board. You take a picture of it with your partner or you holding it, and then you take a video of you releasing the fish back into the water. We rounded up the inches to the nearest quarter inch. You enter it in the app. The app takes care of everything for you, calls out your smallest one, and adds up everything. So literally all you have to do is catch fish and enter them in and just keep going. It was a lot of fun. One of the rules that we had was you could only launch once. So I went out and practiced just the day before the event, which would have been a Saturday. The tournament was on a Sunday, and I found a couple little areas where I thought there might be some fish. Weather was supposed to change. Practice was a little dreary and overcast. I spent most of my time trying to find pre-spawn smallmouth. In my mind, those pre-spawn smallmouth on the Winnebago system are bigger, and normally if you find a couple of them, there's going to be a lot there if conditions line up right. I knew of some other shallow areas where I could go and catch largemouth, so I had a little bit of a backup plan. Going into the tournament, weather had changed. It was sunny. Right away in the morning, it was windy. We had a northeast wind blowing around, I would say 15 to 20. Somebody might correct me on that one. I don't know. But it was gassing pretty good, especially because we launched at Black Wolf. We figured we were going to stay down there, try to grind it out. There's a lot of areas for you to fish down there, so we figured we'd stick it out down there and try to make something happen. Well, we get to our first spot. The water looks like chocolate milk, and I just have zero confidence in fishing for smallmouth in dirty water. So I found a couple areas a little bit further north where they wouldn't be so dirtied up, hopefully. Before heading to that spot, though, I knew it was going to be sunny all day, and I figured, well, heck, let's go up shallow and see if we can try to put a couple largemouth in the boat.
I don't know what tournament it was, but it basically rained on us the whole entire day, too. Another squeaker.
13 3/4. We were able to catch a couple, but nothing legal. Just little buck males. Water temps were still in the high 40s, low 50s. We kind of buzzed out of there, then went to our primary spot. First spot that we stopped at, I catch sheephead. Surprise, surprise. You go to Lake Winnebago and you catch sheephead. Oh, he's freaking got you. Come on, buddy. Get on up in here. Bring me your ugly butt. There you go. You want it?
No.
Yeah, me neither. And then after that, we caught our first keeper smallmouth, made a small little adjustment, and we landed on a pretty good pod of fish. It was me and Tim were hooking up like crazy. Bumped it on the rock. Nope, no fish. Yeah, the bass too. I got it. There we go.
Well, that's great to have on film. Let's not use that footage.
that's going on the blooper reel. That'll keep.
Come, Senator.
That's one.
That's a nice one.
That's a good one.
Holy fuck.
Got a good one on here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Got him freaking. Oh my goodness! Look at that tank. Whoo! Yup. Uh-huh. Right, piggy. Man. Whoo! They were moving up shallow because that sun was out. The wind started calming down, and those fish just moved up to eat. But when it got completely slick calm, you couldn't catch those fish up shallow anymore. You had to start throwing a little bit deeper. We caught fish anywhere from around 6.5 foot all the way up to 3 feet. It was all rock when we were fishing. It was basically a gravel bar, or a rock and gravel bar mixed that went out into this bay. But when you get up close to shore, it's a big spawning flat. Our main choices of baits, my mainstay when it comes to chasing smallmouth around up here, is a green pumpkin tube. I was throwing it on a 5/8 jig, just the internal jig. I do not do the whole jig head on a tube thing. The internal jig heads are the way to go when it comes to fishing a tube. I'm throwing it on 8-pound Seagar Invisex fluorocarbon, 100% fluorocarbon, on a Quantum Smoke. This is the 7.2 medium heavy extra fast with the size 30 smoke reel. The water where we were fishing was crystal clear, and when I throw lighter line, I feel like I get more bites. I know a lot of people say with the zebra mussels and everything, you could throw heavier line. Yes, you can, but I would just check my line a lot. If there's any sort of nick or anything wrong with that line, I cut it and retie it. I did that a lot. As far as why I throw straight fluoro for tubes, especially the 3.5 inch, I feel like it messes with the fall if you try to put it on braid. I don't care how long of a leader you tie. A lot of bites that I get on tubes is when I throw it out and just let it fall, and you get them right on top of your cast. With the water being clear, makes sense. They're further away from the boat. I want to cast it as far away from the boat as I can, and a lot of them came either on the fall or the first couple movements of this tube. Now, a lot of people throw it out and drag it. I am not a tube dragger. I like to incorporate little hops, popping the slack line to make it actually look like a crayfish crawling along the bottom. Yes, you still will get bit if you're just dragging along, because when this thing gets stuck on a rock, a lot of people have an instinct just to pop it really good and make it come up. You will get bit doing that, but what I like to do is let that rod tip load up and let the rod do the work, so that thing just scoots along the bottom just like a crayfish trying to scoot away from a predator. Well, it's very natural, draws a lot of bites. My setup for the shallow water, I did have some flipping stuff tied on, but with the water being as cold as it was, and it's not super cold, it was, I think probably around 50 degrees in some of those backwater areas. I'm looking for a reaction strike. I'm not trying, I mean, if I get a couple big bites, throwing a reaction bait, I'll slow down and start flipping. And I was throwing this is a 3/8 ounce jackhammer with the missile Ned bomb. This trailer looks just like a bluegill's tail, and this jackhammer gives it a bunch of action. I was throwing that on, this is a 7-foot medium heavy with a fast tip Quantum Smoke with the Quantum Vapor. It's the 6.3-to-1, and this is 20-pound fluoro Invisex, 100% fluorocarbon. This is my chatterbait setup. This is how I catch majority of my fish when I'm looking in spring. Something about this chatterbait, man, it just gets them to bite. We didn't hop around a whole lot That was the only thing that I probably would have done a little bit better, is when that bite died. I probably would have left a little bit sooner, but conditions were continuously changing. The wind died down completely, and it was really hard to get those fish to go up shallow. We did catch a couple out deep, a couple really good ones, 4.5 to 5 pound class. I didn't have my scale with. I really wish I would have. We ended up coming in 4th for big fish, and we finished 8th overall in the tournament. It was a lot of fun. I'm a competitor. I like competing. I love bass fishing, but I love competing in tournaments, and it was just a blast to get out and fish against other people. If you guys got any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm Andrew Banky. We'll see you next time.